This is a Russian Big Muff Pi from Electro-harmonix. They don't make them anymore. I don't know exactly when this pedal was made. It was actually lent to me by a buddy of mine, technically his dad, and I didn't ask when he got it or anything like that. I do know there are clones out there on the market. This is obviously not a newer clone of it. It is OG. It is the original. And the Russian Big Muffs, to my knowledge, are sought after because they're a little bit smoother than their American counterparts. So with an American Big Muff, you'll notice on the top end it gets pretty fizzy. Certainly it's like that with the emulation and the 11 rack. If you're not careful, then you can just turn into a sort of mess of treble fuzz, and it just doesn't sound that great. But of course, you know, it covers a lot of the same ground. There's a lot of overlap between the two. It's just one is intrinsically smoother than the other, and that seems to be the Russian. So that's why you hear people sort of seeking them out for that kind of vibe. So let's get to playing it. So I've got my Chapman ML3 Modern running through what I call the beige patch on my 11 rack, and that is a Bogner Ecstasy Green channel emulation. Not much going on there. Little bit of reverb, mostly just clean. It's got a tiny bit of breakup if I really hammer the strings, but it takes pedals really well. So let's switch this thing on. I've got the volume goosed slightly just because it needs it. You know, at noon it just cuts the volume compared to the clean channel. And then I've got the sustain and the tone set to noon, as you can see there. So really right away, yeah, it makes a big difference, and it's not the clearest pedal in the world, which is why you wouldn't play like any Queensryche stuff or anything like that on there, but it does really well on single note runs. Gets really raunchy in there. And let's play around with the tone a little bit. I'm going to play around with the sustain a little bit and just let you hear some of the sounds. So that was all in the bridge humbucker. I'm going to split that so it's a single coil mode. Let's goose the gain a little bit on that. I know it's going to make some noise, so I apologize in advance. So yeah, so even on single coil, it's still pretty smooth, still pretty fuzzy. Gives a lot of thickness to it. Here it is on the neck pickup in humbucker mode. So really, really nice. Sort of singing sustain on that, on the neck pickup there. And this is just the stock one that came with the ML3. That's in single Single coil mode, as you can hear from the noise. All right, so let's take the gain all the way up. So it gets pretty out of control pretty quickly. There's no denying that. But if you want control, then you probably wouldn't have a fuzz pedal. I mean, you know, it gives you a lot of range to work with as far as the gain is concerned. And like, let me dial it all the way down. You'll see. So that's not the greatest sound in the world. It's obviously not designed to have the gain all the way down. You know, this isn't really a boost pedal per se. But that option is there if you just want sort of a kind of weedy sort of sound. Let me put the gain back up. We'll fiddle with the tone a little bit. So tone on 0. So it really never gets unusable on the low end of the tone scale. Let's turn that all the way up and see if that holds true. This I really would only use if I were having like a lo-fi effect on a song or something like that. But hey, that option exists, so that's cool. In any case, I mean, you can hear how gnarly the sound can get sort of on its own. I also put together a little mini song so you can hear it in a mix. So here is that. Just for giggles, I also put the same song through the 11 Rack's Big Muff emulation. I recorded the same thing with basically similar settings. Note that it's the American version of the Big Muff that the 11 Rack emulates. So it's going to sound a little bit brighter, less smooth inherently. So here is that song, the same mix through the emulation. And so that does it for our look at the Big Muff Pi Russian version from Electro-harmonix. I've been Tim, your friendly neighborhood bastard, signing off.